Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. I hear myself. Have you got me on somewhere, Scott?
For me?
Yeah. Let me
no.
mute you. Hang on a second. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's coming from you.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have you. Your stuff is blue.
All right.
And
you're not watching it anywhere.
You're not coming. You're not coming. No. No. I have the Streaming Idiots page up, but I've got everything muted on the line. And I don't. I mean, I see your meter working, but I have you out of the mix. My mix, anyways.
Yeah. All right.
Let me send you.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Don't hear it. Test 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Now I hear it.
Let me. Maybe I can. Maybe I could just send you my. I could send you my B audio source. I could send you my sub bus.
Oh, now you're gone. You're not there. Dead air is what they call it. While we're waiting for Scott to come back, welcome. Welcome. Let's see. Joe's here. Amnon, Merle, Mike, Dave, Martin, Rich, Texas Mike, Rick, Scott, Tommy, Henry, or is it Henri, Kurt, Giles. Giles, sorry to hear about your hurricane over there. Christopher, Martin K, Brandon Adams, Dave, Kiwi Chris, Chad, Ted in California, Amy's here, Brian's here, Rod's here, Rudy's here, and Leon's here, and Scott and Tom. All right. Yeah, all I hear in the background is little psst, 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 psst of me.
That's weird. I don't.
It's bleeding over from somewhere. I would say close all your browser windows except the Streaming Idiots chat, because it has
get rid of that one.
sense that it's coming over from somewhere else.
I mean, there's no other browsers open right now. There's only their chat is open.
Huh.
And see,
and you're wearing earbuds, so it's not picking up the earbuds unless the mic is just intensely. Check 1, 2. It's gone.
See, I can't even hear you right now.
Well, that's why it's not echoing.
Change some audio settings.
Okay.
I hate to do this. It's 3 o'clock.
That's all right. That's all right. It's all about being real, and we're as real as it gets. Is that enough to
annoy you, or you? I mean, is it coming across the main feed? I don't know if it's coming across the main feed or not.
Check 1, 2. Yeah, it's still there. It's not annoying, but it's not very.
Oh.
It's not perfect. And you know me. You know how high my standards are.
Yeah, you're pretty high standards. It's like talking to what's his name, Lester Holt.
Yeah. Who's Lester Holt? Goodness gracious. All right, Rich says that you are audible.
I know. I can't believe it. Well, it's better than me on New Year's Eve, I guess.
Were you not audible on New Year's Eve?
Well, I was tired and maybe a couple of brandies in me.
It was one day, yeah. All right. Mike L is here. He's made it for the show in between appointments. Mike, we're not in show yet. Sorry to disappoint. We are still in pre-show, so we are just.
It's all Scott's fault.
It's all Scott's fault. There you go. That's right. All right, Kirk says that I did a really good show on audio problems. I should check it out. That's right. That's right. Well, maybe you guys can't hear it. That's right. All I hear is just a little in the background. That's my voice echoing back. But if y'all can't hear it, that's great. I'm not going to worry about it, and we will move forward. And I've got to get a 2018 notebook for my shows. I haven't done that because I knew what you and I would do today would be just to sort of wing it. All right, let's see. So Giles had like this hurricane come through in the UK yesterday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
In the winter. I can't imagine anything more brutal than a hurricane in the winter. Holy cow. I mean, can you imagine
So instead of a
95-mile-an-hour
hurricane,
winds where you are?
Would that have been called a hurricane?
A hurricane. Yeah, that's right. A UK-cane.
It's it.
All right. Well, Mike says we should take our time, but I think we probably ought to get started. So let me give a big shout out to you that are watching now, wondering what in the world's going on. They're not really talking about anything. We're in pre-show. We're a little behind today. First of the year, kind of trying to get all the bugs worked out. One of the bugs is that I've got a new X-Key controller. And let's see, can we get it on there? Yeah, you can see the keys that are green because you see right through them. And so I've been programming that. And also Martin Kay, thank you very much, sent me a brand new intro and outro, which I remember every year I struggle to get all the necessary steps to it, all the switching and the recording and all that. So I've got the intro right. The outro, we'll just have to see how it goes. But it's pretty cool. I want to get y'all's opinion on that as it comes through. So, Scotty, I'm going to mute you, and then we'll get started. And I'll have a little monologue, and then introduce you, and then we'll go. All right? You got it?
All right.
Good.
I got it.
All right. So Scott's on the down low, and let's go here, and let's see if this works. Shall we see? Let's give it a try. It's Fade to Black Part 1. No, it didn't work. Stop. No, that didn't work. What did I do wrong? Doggone it. Let's see. Let's get that guy restarted. Because it should, see, that should not come right there. So let's see what we've got. Real quickly, we're just going to take a quick look in here and see in the multi-view. Yeah. That should be right. That should be right there. Okay. Now let's check the shortcut. 1 second here, guys. Sorry about this. Fade to black. Review input. Restart. Fade. Fade to black. Well, that's just wild. Stop recording. Yeah. Script start. What is that? Oh. Well, let's get rid of that one. Sorry about this, guys. I don't think this is going to fix it, but we'll fake it. Here we go. Emergency beer to the green room. That is too much. Way too much. It worked! All right! Woo! Welcome! Happy New Year! I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. We're a very serious show. We are so serious, let me tell you. I am delighted that you're here. I'm delighted it's another new year, 2018, all full of promise and hope and all good things. So I hope that's how you're looking at it. I am, at least I was until I got the news last night that there's some just deep flaw in every Intel chip, every Intel CPU that's been manufactured in the last 10 years that makes it vulnerable to some cyber attack that's going to take over the world and pitch us back into the dark ages. And the fix for it is coming out January 9th, I think, something like that, that's supposed to throttle every Intel CPU anywhere from 5 to 30%. Just when you thought it was safe to come out of the woods again. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But remember, the second Tuesday of the month is Microsoft Patch Day. And yours might happen early in the morning Tuesday or late at night Tuesday, maybe not even till Wednesday, just sort of depends on where you are. So if you've got a gig Tuesday or Wednesday, you may want to totally disable all of your Microsoft updates until such time as you can verify that it's going to work correctly and see what kind of slowdown we're going to get. Yeah, Chad is saying up to 30%, up to 30%. Wow. I hope you have more CPU than you need. Looking down here, I'm like, golly gee, we'll see. I mean, I'm dealing with an old i7 second generation quad-core processor, the 2600K, which is a good little processor. It's a screamer. And we've got it overclocked to, I don't know what, lately, 3.7 or 3.8, something like that. And we'll see how that does with this kind of upgrade and 30% less effectiveness, or up to 30%. So yeah, everybody in the chat room is like, let's don't do this. let's see if we can reject this. Let's turn back the clock, go back to 2017. But you know, you just never know. You never know what's coming down the road. And it was in pre-show. I've got Scott Puena there in the green room, kind of warming up for the show today. He's going to be our guest, and we were kind of walking through some things before the show. And you know, you just never know what you're going to get. That Microsoft has made a change, or in this case, Intel has released that they have a deep flaw in every chip they've made for CPUs in the last 10 years. Holy cow! I've got an old Dell dual core there in the corner that is at least 10 years, probably more than 10 years old. I may have to pull that out and let that start streaming. We will see. We will see. The update is going to be a Microsoft update, is what I heard. January 9th, if that's a Tuesday. I don't have my calendar in front of me. But whatever the second Tuesday is, yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. So it'll be really interesting. And, you know, it'll be look at it as an adventure. Look at it as an adventure. I want to give a big shout out to all of you that are watching on YouTube or Facebook. We'd invite you to come on over to Eastern Shore Broadcasting. That is right there, easternshorebroadcasting.com. And that way you can get on the chat room, because those are the guys that are talking about this flaw right now and sharing information back and forth. And yeah, Scott says the Microsoft stock is down. Yeah, I guess so. I'd be tossing that stock too if I owned any. Maybe I do. Ooh, I better go sell it. Anyway, would love to have you guys come over to easternshorebroadcasting.com, because you can get in on the chat. That's the key. And if you want to, right to the right of the screen is a little sign-up box. If you want to sign up and give us your email, we will spam you with every known piece of spam known to man. Not really. We'll just send you updates every now and then as things go on. I'm really excited about today's show because my guest is a very exciting person. Scott Puena is the winner of the StreamCon Navigation Award, as you guys may recall from previous shows, and is also going to be the professor for our sales and marketing class that starts next Thursday. That's a week from tomorrow. So many folks have talked about, oh, you know, I want to do live streaming, but I don't know where to start getting the money rolling in. Well, Scott has put together a 6-week class. Well, let me just bring him in here. Heck, you know, we could talk about him, or we could talk to him. Scott, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Hey, welcome, Tom. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for you didn't put Dr. Scott Pienta here. I need the DR. I guess I was joking.
Really?
There's no doctor. No.
Okay.
There's no doctor.
Is there a doctor in the house? No, there are no doctors in the house.
No. I figured you were just saying I was a big high professor, so I figured I should throw the DR in there, maybe. And
yes.
I could just promote myself a little bit more.
Yeah. What do they call it? A doctor, but there's a Bachelor of Science, so you could be a doctor of BS. Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly. You've been talking to my wife, haven't you?
No, I've actually talked to you on more than one occasion. No, but this class is coming up, and that's what we want to talk about today, the sales and marketing class, because so many folks have expressed frustration in not being able to, they've got the streaming skills, they've got the right equipment, but they can't get clients. And it's like it's an enigma. It's a puzzle. It's a Chinese puzzle. It's a Rubik's Cube.
Well,
and you have the secret.
Well, I don't know about a secret. This came up in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group, and we talked. There's a few guys just frustrated that just don't seem to be able to make any sales. So I said, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and give some basic sales advice. There's guys in here that are probably watching this, and I'm not sure everybody who's in there, but guys that'll, if not watching it now, but later, that have great sales experience. Everybody's a salesman. It's just some are better than others, and that's you got the Jim Jacobs of the world. You have a lot. Jim's been in this sales business for a long time, so selling comes naturally to him. Selling comes naturally to me. But some other guys, Scott was mentioned, and not me, but another Scott in the group that we were talking about earlier, was making comment that he just can't seem to get it together for making those sales, and that's what this course is going to be about. This course is geared to those guys. This isn't so much geared to sales for streaming altogether. It's kind of encompassing a broad outline of streaming with just a kind of a bunch of other little nooks and crannies of sales tactics in there. Understanding your base core. That's a big one. Understanding your base and your core of your company, and understanding what values your customers' values.
But hold on, understanding yourself is a hard thing to do, because most people are not aware of their strengths and weaknesses. They think they know what they're strong at, but maybe they're wrong. Holy cow!
Right, and it is hard. It's very hard. Selling is, if everybody was good at selling, we'd have everybody be driving brand new cars. It's not easy to do. It takes some finesse. It takes practice, just like streaming. You have to be afraid. Not have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of getting the word no, because you're going to hear it more times than you're going to hear the word yes. I can't tell you how many times, even when I started my Hometown Media, which was originally Hillsdale TV, when I started that thing, I started on a wing and a prayer with no experience at all. Getting the first couple yeses right away was really good, but then I got a lot of no's across there, and you got to the point you're like, is this thing really going to work? And I said, you know what?
Start doubting yourself.
You start doubting what you're doing. You start doubting how you're doing things. And I said, you know what? But the thing that I had is I had experience in sales, and I said, you know what? What's working right now, or how things used to sell, is not how things work right now. So what I have to do is go back to the drawing board and take those years of selling different tactics, from cars to equipment to customers' audio video to commercial buildings, whatever it was that I sold. I had to take all that and try to figure out a new tactic, because that's how we have to focus on it. Streaming is an evolving curve. One of my customers is an insurance company, and it's being sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Well, Auto Owners is nationwide.
Yes.
Well, Auto Owners really really likes what I'm doing, and
Awesome.
they're really enjoying this, and they wanted a sponsor because it's a new evolving industry. It's
Right.
something new that they're wanting to understand and gets. So they had no problem sponsoring. I mean, I was just talking to Pizza Hut corporate, or not Pizza Hut, Little Caesars corporate just the other day, and they have a couple different levels now. To be a national sponsor, to understand, to get a national sponsorship, I have to be able to hit all 50 of their or 50 states of their stores. So that's what they're looking for when they look for a national sponsor. But I did get some valuable information from them on their state by state stores and how to move around that territory.
Is that going to be part of the class?
That's we're going to talk about it
Okay.
because we want to make the class that I put together. I mean, like I said, in week one we have a 6-week course. The first week we really want to go into understanding your base and your core, and then we also want to follow up by the fundamentals of sales, selling techniques to and for new people. So week one might not be for somebody who's already been selling before, but understanding your base and core, these are all just basic business.
It never
and
hurts to
sales
review the
tactics.
basics. Never hurts to
No,
review the
never-
basics.
no, it doesn't.
Now, the format of the class, Scott, is going to be, and you and I have talked about this, it's going to be you're going to make a presentation, and then the folks
Correct.
that are attending the class online, I think we'll probably use Zoom to do that, will have an opportunity after the presentation to ask questions of you and to engage in discussion.
And
so,
in a way, we're going to take that a little step further, because after each part, let's say we're talking about core values, we might stop before we move on to our next slides and just review that a little bit. Have some guys take some notes and see where they're at. And yes, we are going to be doing role play. We will be doing some role play because that is part of it. You have to understand. Now, it's difficult when it's online, but the core is going to be there. I mean, we want you to be able to feel comfortable, and we will be giving you an assignment to go out into the public, and once we get closer to the end of the class, and selling
Homework.
and then
I love
giving
it.
us, giving them a homework, going out there, go sell this person, and when we get there, maybe if we have the name of the person we can talk to, and I can give them a call and say, hey, what did you like about what they sold you? How did they sell you? What didn't you like how they sold you? So that gives me feedback and how to help that salesperson understand what they're doing, right or wrong.
Right.
And it's not you say, hey, we're trying to understand this, and who did you speak to? And I can give them a call. Hey, you had so and so in there just last week, and I'm so and so. We're
Right.
teaching a course, and they're following, and we're trying to understand where they went wrong or where they went right. What did
Sure.
they do? What didn't they do that you liked or didn't like? So there's a lot to selling, and we wanted. 6 weeks is tough to hone it in, and there'll eventually maybe be another course if this does well. Where it'll be a little more advanced, tailored to streaming and more better, not really better sales, but just looking at those, bringing in some of those guys have filmed for E3 or have filmed for Division I sports, or a film, guys that we can take a look at streaming that way, and then we could take a look at streaming via pay-per-view or anything else, sponsorships and or advertisers. So there's a lot of levels to this course, and we're just talking some of them. In one of the weeks, we're talking in week 3, we're talking effective speaking. That's another big core to sales. You have to be able to explain what you're doing. You can't go into so many businesses and stutter and stammer and use a lot of uhs and thes and a lot of
Yeah.
the interjections, and and you have to slow down your speech, even if it sounds like you're letting your mind catch up to what's coming out of your mouth, so you sound like an effective speaker.
Good luck on that one.
That's going to be a tough one. I'm going to talk to one of the professors here at the college where I work and see if she could, she teaches an effective speech course for this reason, and maybe get some tidbits and have her maybe do a one-on-one video with her and get some information that she
cool.
would
Yep.
be sharing. So it's I think it'll be good. And she, they do all kinds of stuff.
So the class is intended for people primarily that are coming from a streaming background, maybe a video background, maybe a photography background. Maybe they just picked this up as a hobby and it's beginning to move forward. And now they need more tools in their toolbox to take it from a hobby or a semi-profession to the real deal. I mean, and this is going to get them started. This is the basics to how do you sell, how do you market yourself and your product. And if you had to pick out one aspect of a salesman, because, face it, in this case, everybody's going to be a salesman. What's the most important characteristic of that salesman to you? What's your strong point as a salesman?
Aligning yourself to the customer.
Figuring out what the customer is and then lining yourself up with it.
Yeah, you have to. I'm a strong salesman because I have a good mannerism and way to set myself up and work with the customer as far as talk to them on their level. Don't talk down to them. Don't talk up to them. Talk to them on their level. And that's what makes selling difficult. If you can sell people and you've never met these people before and you come into a conversation and it could be off the wall and you're talking to these people and it's a conversation about something else and you're able to communicate and pick right up just like you've been long lost friends, that's a big sales, and it makes them it already puts them at ease. And it takes their guard down from this guard that they put up of, it's a salesperson, he just wants money out of me. And once you break that wall, selling becomes a lot easier. And Mike mentions, I gotta know how to close a deal. Yeah, well, closing the deals, we gotta get close to making a sale first before we close a deal. So we gotta get.
I remember working in a company, and one of the salesmen there he was a classic salesman, but he was not a classic closer. And so he would sell, and he would miss the signals from the buyer that says, "Hey, I'm ready to buy. I'm ready. Where do I sign?" But no, he sell, and then he'd walk out without the sale because he never could close. He never could listen,
and you have to understand that in sales,
sense when it was time to close.
Right, and that is huge. Closing is a big thing, but more than closing, you have to understand who you are, what you're selling, who your target audience is, who you're advertising, who you're going after in advertising, because even your advertisers look at who your target audience is. I mean, are you trying to target audience from male 25 to 35, 35 to 45? Are you trying to tailor audience from 18 to 25? Who are you trying to target when you're going to get your sales? And that makes up another big deal too. You have to understand, hey, I'm filming high school sports. Okay, so your high school sports, who's going to be watching? It's not going to be the kids. The kids aren't your target audience. Well, your target audience are your 24 to 35 years old and your 35 to 45. Those are your two demographics, your two targets, male and female, that you want to hit. So, when the hospital approaches me and they're saying, "Hey, Scott, we just built this whole new baby ward, and we want to advertise with you." Well, is high school sports really where you want to sell them to? Well, probably not, because even though people will want to advertise or will watch that, you have to understand that they're going after the 18 to 24-year-old who are having babies. They're not going after, there's not very many 35 and above having kids right now. I'm not. I mean, I'm up in the upper 40s, but I don't want any more kids. So that's the last thing is I want to watch is a baby sales thing.
I want more kids. I just want somebody else to birth them. Then they can bring them to me later.
Yeah, that's it. So that's.
But let me save this sale for you. Let me save this sale for you on the hospital, because I think if you're talking about high school sports, I think a lot of alumni like to watch their games, and these are folks that have been out of high school for 1 to 5 years. So they're in college or they're just post college, and they are
Well,
in
it's
that
not
marrying age, and I think that's a huge. I think that's now obviously you've done the statistics on
Right.
done the analytics on your shows, and so you know the demographics of who's watching
Right.
and where your strong points are. But that you can change that. You can
Right,
market.
and you can, but you can change it with
yourself.
programming and everything else. The
That's right.
kids. Don't get me wrong. We do have high school kids, and I do. You know, where the college I work here, I do have. Some of the students will actually come up to me at the college here and say, "Hey, Scott, I just seen your channel. I didn't even know you had your own channel, and we were just happened to be watching." And it does happen that they come across it, and if they're known, but where I would sell the hospital is more in the McRitchie rehab units, not like drug rehab, but like joint and knees or
Old
skilled,
folks.
maybe skilled
Yeah.
nursing, and old folks. Because I do have a couple old folks homes that advertise with us because that's who's watching. We do have some 65 to 75-year-olds that are watching us on Facebook and that. So you have to understand are the demographics, and then you have to know where they're watching. You know, right now my channel, we launch a video and we'll get 3,000 to 4,000 views, and
Okay.
even when we're going live, we'll do, even though high school sports in Michigan is you can't stream live, we can now, and that's a whole other thing right now. But the whole issue is that we need to understand where. I just lost my train of thought. Where I was going with this. I need to understand. I just, you get to one of those things, and I just got onto something else, and I was like, I just completely lost track.
Oh man, I
guess
know
that's
that
what
rabbit
I was
trail.
just saying.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
It's like,
indeed.
where the heck was I going with that?
All right. Well, let me. While
but
you're
anyway.
remembering that, let me pitch something to you, because what you are talking about is a product that you have put together that you want to basically sell sponsors or advertising for. But what about the live streamer that comes to you and says, Scott, I want to live stream gigs and to be paid to do it. I have streaming skills and I want somebody to pay me to stream. How is this class going to work for them?
This class will work for them in two different ways. One, social media. We do talk about social media for sales. We do talk about what do you charge? How do you figure up your values, your goals, what you're worth, and the importance of analytics, and then your presentation skills. We do talk about all these things. They're all different classes. We talk about effective presentation skills. We talk about
tools,
your analytics and understanding how to read your analytics. We can all say Google Analytics. We can get the 3-second views from Facebook, but we all know in the industry those don't add up to a hill of beans. What I cared is to see how long they've watched, because if they came on for 3 seconds, they're not going to see. If I'm in a part of the game, they're not going to see my advertisers. Right. So if they watch for 10 or 15 minutes, then I do have the chance where they're going to occasionally come across my advertisers, and that's the key, is to get them to view that advertisers. And when we do go live and when we do stream live, we'll have people watch for an hour or 2 hours, and it happens. We'll see them come on and off. They might lose connection or whatever it is. So but yeah, you're right, Rick. It is viewer minutes. That's the key, man. That is the key. You can't sell an advertiser on 3-second views. You have to sell them on the longevity of the sale, and that's what you have to build. And that's a tough thing to do in this industry. You have to build a good client base, and you have to build quality programming for people to watch. Otherwise, if it's junk programming, they won't watch. Your advertisers won't advertise with you, and you have to keep. I'm not saying you have to start at this level, but if you sell, and it's one of the things we talk about in the class, is don't oversell and underdeliver. You always overdeliver and undersell. So if you start out here and your customers know you're starting out here, then as you continue to buy and grow, they see the growth, they see how well you're starting to look and your potential, and eventually you'll get to that level where you can say, okay, now, I'm at the level where I need to be to do quality programming. guess what also comes with it? And your advertisers have been with you for a year, couple of years now, 2-3 years, and watch this is now I can charge a little bit more because it's time for an upgrade. So.
All right, so Rich has got a question. How do you make money live streaming?
That's a tough question, Rich.
It's got to be tongue in cheek. Got to be tongue in cheek.
It is, because what's good for the goose is not sometimes good for the gander, and what's working for me might not work for others. I know it will. Will I give all of my sales techniques and how I'm making money? No, I won't give every detail. That will be for a special group, and we will do that. We will teach people how to do
super
sales.
Secret.
And, well, yeah, there's, I can't give all my sales techniques a week because there's some things that I'm doing with the Hometown Media Group that's going to be, that are going to be pretty, like I said, I was just talking to Little Caesars just not that long ago. So there's things on the horizon. I'm talking to Big B. I'm talking to Pizza Hut. I'm talking to Ashley Furniture. I'm talking to some major people and people that I've either worked for corporate-wise, or they've hired my company to do work. So I have the contacts already there. Now I'm teaching them, hey, this is what I'm doing, getting ready to start doing, and they're interested. So
okay, hold it.
They're
Time
not
out.
telling me
Time
no.
out. Time
so,
out. Time out. Stop.
I know.
Stop. Where's his mic button? We got to mute his mic. No. All right. So let me try to tie this together because I love where you're going with this.
Right.
But the super secret stuff doesn't work unless you know the basics. I mean, you could pop out all the super secret stuff right here, and you could give names and phone numbers of Pizza Hut and Ashley Furniture and all these others, and unless somebody's got sales skills, has got the ability to go in and analyze and prepare their marketing and their sales pitch, they're not. It doesn't matter if that person comes to their house and visits them. If they don't have the basic understanding of the sales process, they're not likely to be successful. And that's what this sales and marketing class is going to introduce people to.
That's what this course is supposed to be.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, because if I just like you said, Tom, it's great. A great way to put it is I could give you a name and say, hey, go talk to Jean. Jean is looking for you to sell her.
Right.
But if you walk in the door, you give her a call over the phone, you do that cold call, and you're trying to make that appointment to even go see her, she's gonna just, if you don't know how to talk to him on the phone, to even doing the cold calling even, well then you're already in trouble. A lot of times I don't do a whole lot of cold calling. The only time I do cold calling is to my corporate companies because you're not sure who to talk to just yet. But the best way to get in their face, and that's what we're going to talk about, is to get in front of them and how to look, am I going to go in a suit and tie if I'm going to a dairy farm to, bring their advertising to me?
You'll only do that once.
No. That's right. So you have to understand where you're going. We talk about territory. We talk about time management, in your sales. Because all of this stuff is relevant because you being out there doing sales, all of it is important, and you cannot waste your time. You've got to be short, you got to be sweet, you got to get your customer on your side very quickly.
All right, Craig is saying in chat, saying, all this is very good, but let's set up a role play, you and I, right now. And you're the sales guy, and I'm the guy with pockets full of cash.
Ooh, I like those guys.
And you want to get me to buy your program. Give me your best shot in 45 seconds or less.
45 seconds? All right.
45 seconds. Now think about it just a second.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah, think about it just for a second.
45 seconds to sell a program. Okay.
And let me put a scenario for you. Let's say that I am a real estate agent in your area.
Okay.
Or in one of the areas that you want to be in. And I am already hugely successful. And I don't need your stuff to be part of my program. But maybe I do. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Give me a call. See,
Hello.
Mark,
All right.
you
So
bumped into me in the elevator.
All right, bumped you into the elevator.
Yeah.
So hey, we're just talking along, and hey, how are you going? My weather's cold up here today. It's only 5 degrees.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
that's brutal.
You
need to grow a beard.
Brutal.
That's what you need to do. You need to grow a beard.
That's what I'm doing. As you notice, that's what I am doing. I am building that beard. But at the same time, I noticed that I know I've recognized you from somewhere. And
You've probably seen my signs.
Don't you do? I've seen your signs, and I started up this small TV channel right here in Hillsdale, doing some local events and
what
local,
channel number?
Well, it's on. We're not on channel number yet because we are talking to Comcast, but we are online, and the reason we went to online is because that's the new age, and that's where everybody's going. And so you do your real estate.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you have?
Well, we got a lot of stuff. We've got a reality show. Well, not really a reality show. We go out to local businesses in the area and talk to them about their business. And we also do high school sports. We do high school sports not only for the local high schools, but we do schools that are in the NFHS, the National Federation of High Schools. We film for them.
Yeah.
We do local city council meetings. We do a lot of local events, parades we started getting into. We get a call for a lot of different things. And I see that you have your Facebook group right there. You're online. You had a Facebook account set up. And you know what you could do with advertising with us? We can even set up a special package with you where we can actually go showcase some of those new homes that you're showing on your Facebook page and do it for you at little extra charge or to little to nothing, depending on what package you choose to jump on board with us. So
you have different packages.
Let me show you a little bit about. Yeah, let me show you a little bit about who we are, and here's who we are. Let me show you. This is how you find our page. We find it through Facebook.
We just got to our floor. Golly, I got to get off the elevator now.
Well, I tell you.
Why don't you step down here to my office with me and talk some more?
Take a look at it. Take a look at our webpage.
I'm ready to buy.
Full of information.
I'm ready to buy.
And,
sell me.
If you're ready to
sell
buy,
me.
I tell you
sell
what.
me.
Here's
Where do
my
I
price.
sign?
Here's my card. Here's how we do it: 6-month or 12-month commitment with us, and we'll get the paperwork started right away, and we'll get out here and start shooting some advertising for you and putting your houses on the market. And so there's a lot of ways. I'm
signing up,
but you have to get the customer. You have to first. Doing it in 45 seconds is a tough sale.
Absolutely,
especially online.
Absolutely,
but
especially when I just throw it to you and you don't know who I am or what I'm doing or what I'm saying. I thought you did real well.
You have to get with the customer. You have to get them talking. Coming right at them, selling them something is not going to work. But getting them talking about something else and then transitioning into a sale. And starting to bring up, hey, this is what I kind of started, and it's kind of doing well. Then it starts to work. And the longer you have with them, as long as you don't spend all day with them, the longer you have with them, and you might not get the first go around, you might not get that sale. I went to one customer 5 times, and I was ready to give up on him. I was like, you know what? This customer is not wanting to do anything. That 5th time I went in there, he wasn't there. Just tell him Scott stopped by. I got an email from him. Scott, we've been talking about you. We talked about you the last couple times. I'm sorry I didn't catch you, but we want to join and we want to advertise with you. So
awesome.
Like I said, it's. You might have to go 2 or 3 or 4 times. I mean, I have one of the grocery stores here in town. 5, 6 times even. And I went in there, it seemed like clockwork. So I'm like, oh man, he's a big grocery store. He's got 3 locations. I'm going to be able to sell him all day long. He is tough to get a hold of. Everybody's. Sure. And you have to understand, and that's another part of selling is understanding your competition. And we talk about that because your competition and what they're charging and how often he's running with that competition and what is he getting out of that competition. You adding value to your sales. You have to add value to your what you're doing for them, what you're going to give them first off. So there's a lot of selling techniques that we're talking about in here.
These don't sound like live streaming skills at all. You haven't talked anything about resolutions or bit rates or frame rates or CDNs or cameras.
You're right.
Or any of that stuff, Scott.
a salesperson, a customer, there are a lot of customers. I went into this as no kidding. I went into a water treatment. They sell bottled water, the water and salt. And I went into them, and they're a Culligan dealer. And I went into them, and I said, is the owner here, blah, blah, blah. And then she says, no, he's not. And not right now. He's in the back room. So he came back. He just happened to be coming back, and I was talking. I said, well, I'm Scott with Hillsdale TV. I said Hillsdale TV at the time. And, I wanted to kind of introduce myself to him and let him know who I am. And he happened to walk through the door, and he says, and she goes, oh, here he is right now. So I introduced who I was and started talking to him. I said, I'm Scott Pienta with Hillsdale TV, and this is who I am. This is what we're doing. And he goes, Hillsdale TV, and the guy, there was another gentleman who walked in from the back. Goes, oh man, you guys! I watched my son play a game just a couple of weeks ago. He says, I thought it was great, and so all of a sudden you've got that sale
immediately.
Because
yes,
you're already
validation,
and the validation of what you're doing, because people don't know you from a hill of beans,
right?
And so first thing he asked is, well, did you watch it? He goes, man, I watched the whole thing. He says, yes, commercials, the whole 9 yards. It was a great game. It was a good game. So getting to know that, and then it made my sale a lot easier, is because now I can transition from trying to pitch them into sales mode and how I'm going to hook them. And so that's the key, is getting that. Once you get that hook, no different than fishing. Now you gotta slowly reel them in. You gotta let it out a little bit, reel them back in, let it out. It's a little process, but eventually you'll get them into the boat. So there's a lot to sales. Sales isn't easy.
Two things it takes. It takes confidence, unshakable confidence, and it takes perseverance.
It does.
Perseverance to never, 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 never give up, because you are going to be successful. And anything that says to the contrary is just an obstacle to be overcome. Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
It is tough. You cannot be afraid to hear the word no. If you hear the word no and you're like, okay, a great show is Tommy Boy. If you ever watch Tommy Boy, and they kind of doing those quick cuts, when he's out there selling, he's like, let me say no. Okay, all right then. And he's out the door, you didn't even give it a shot. He's like, it wasn't.
He was relieved.
Finally, he was relieved. Like, all right, no problem. I'm out. See you later.
Yep.
That's not going to sell you anything. You have to take that no, and that's what he did in that, and it's great sales. That's what he took. He took that no and that sales where he made his first sale, and he flipped it and got on the customer side. Hey, why do people put a guarantee on the box? Well, I don't know. Well, then he gets him thinking, why do they put a guarantee on that box? And that's his hook. Now he's got him hooked. Now he needs to close. And now that's what he did. He flipped that. So it's a great sales analogy. It's a funny movie. And you might all like Chris Farley, but I tell you what, that was a perfect analogy of sales. First people just heard the word no, and they're like, all right, put their hands up in the air, and they're done. And in that instance, he went back and he finally found out what worked, and he was able to take that and flip it and make a sale out of it. So, getting on the customer level, getting them to understand.
Yep. And sometimes it takes a while. Some of my best customers are people that took me the longest time to get to make the first buy.
Yeah.
And they would come back and they'd ask questions, and they'd say, well, what about this? And I'd say, okay, that's the deal. And I tend to be pretty soft in my sale. I'm not a hard closer.
Right.
I'm a
right.
Do you want that Tuesday or Thursday closer? That's my favorite close. Do you want that PTZ camera in white or gray? Do you want the 12X or the 20X? Oh, well, I hadn't thought about it. And then we move into it, and then we're problem solving. And that's a big part of my sales game, is problem solving. If I can solve your problem, I've got your sale. I was talking to somebody this morning. He's like, I've already talked to somebody, and they said, if I ever had a problem with this, I should call the manufacturer. And I said, well, if you ever have a problem with that, call me, because I can answer the question, because I use it every day. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yep.
They said, well, will you give me my sale?
I mean,
And here's the other thing: is people want people they can trust. People want people that are willing to kind of go the extra mile for them. And people don't like people that feel like they'll never ever see them again. They'll get their money and then they'll disappear. Not that they want long-term relationships. They don't want you to come to their wedding, but they want you to know that they did get married.
They want you to know that you're around, that they can call, and I've always been there. A perfect example is I sold a mixer and new laptop and some other stuff to a church in town here. One of the professors here teaches chemistry. It's his church, and they had this long process on how they edit the audio for radio the next week, so they can give them a short 30-minute part of the sermon. And so the way they did it was god awful. They had an old analog board, and they had to hit the recorder at a certain time and hit this button and hit this button, and it took them to edit. It took them 3-4 hours. It was incredible. And I said, look, we're going to sell you this new board. It's a digital board. We're going to sell you this laptop. We're going to sell you and a thumb drive, and that's all you're going to need. You're going to have to get Adobe Audition or some form of audio editing software. They liked Audition, and so that's what they went with. And we took. And they just called me yesterday. Hey, Scott, we're having a problem with this wireless mic. And I'm like, okay, I'm not quite sure everything was working when I left. So they said, hey, can you come out and take a look at it? So sure. I went over there today and looked at it around 11 o'clock this morning. And it wasn't even a wireless mic. It was their hearing assist. That's why they thought they weren't getting the audio. It was a hearing assist and they never used it. So they're like, oh, I thought it was a microphone. I'm like, no, it's their hearing assist. But we went through and we showed them a couple other quick steps. But Dave, the one I met, was not the professor here, but Dave is one of the people that works on the board. Dave is 78 years old, and I was able to teach him Adobe Audition, how to use this mixer and set it up, and how to transfer the stuff and get it over. And it took me about an hour and a half training with him, but he was able to do this, and he goes and takes it, practices at home. But even when I set it up, he knew that I would be there. I showed him what he did. He understood it. He took some quick notes. He goes, I got it. I know. And he has no audio experience whatsoever. But he knew that he could trust me. I came out there, and then he says, hey, Scott, are you charging us for this? I'm like, no, it was just a quick, we're here for 20 minutes showing you guys what to do and fixing a couple little things. And he goes, well, let me buy you lunch. All right. So you can buy me lunch. So we went out and had a burger and talked for about another, half an hour, 40 minutes, and just about everything. So, that's what the kind of relationship you have to build with your customers. I know I can call my customers. I see them out at the golf course a lot of times. That's another good place to know customers, is the golf course. I see them out at the golf course, and the key is out at the golf course, though, no business. You're out there to golf and have fun.
Well, and you can't go out to the golf course today. There's nobody at the golf course today.
No, not today.
Or
but
tomorrow.
There is an indoor golf course. You can go to the golf simulator. So we do have those.
Gotcha. All right, so we got to wrap this up. So Scott is starting this class next Thursday. If you need more information about it, you can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, because Scott and I are partnering on this, and go to the store. Or you can send me an email at tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, or you can find either one of us on Facebook, and we are happy to answer any questions that you might have about it. The class is limited to 12 people. We can't have more than 12 because it's too many for a good discussion. In fact, we probably ought to limit this one to 8, but we haven't had 8 sign up yet, so we'll just limit it to 8. But if you're interested, easternshorebroadcasting.com, go to the store, and I'll put a link below so that you can go directly to it on the Facebook page and the YouTube page, so you can go directly to it. We also have the Introduction to Live Streaming class starting next Tuesday. We did that back in the fall, and it was very successful. And if you want to know how to get into live streaming and all the different piece parts about it, that's the thing to do too. Scotty, hang on a little bit if you will, and we'll field some questions from the folks in chat in the post show. But I'm gonna close up here and tell you this entire show as all of our shows, has been a giant infomercial. We're selling stuff. Yes, we're selling stuff. And and the stuff we sell is the stuff about live streaming. Scotty and I are working together on this class that we hope that you will come join. It's $99 for 6 weeks, about 90 minutes a night, 8 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday evenings, starting a week from tomorrow. And you can get more information at easternshorebroadcasting.com. And then starting a week from yesterday is the introduction to live streaming class, coming up a week from yesterday for 6 weeks. Same format, about 90 minutes, 8 p.m. Eastern time, so that's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it's a group format, so you get to meet all the other folks in your group. And what I find is that those people tend to talk with each other afterwards and share their successes and share their failures. And so it can become a good support community as well as a learning community. The other things that we're doing at easternshorebroadcasting.com are we design and build PCs for streaming. So if you've gone through all the off-the-shelf stuff and you couldn't get the sweet spot for somehow, give us a call, and I'd be happy to talk with you about that and what your needs are and how we can best fit your needs. We've got 2 on the workbench right now, one going to a church in California and one going to a business in Pennsylvania, who said, we gotta have live streaming. We gotta have live streaming in-house. We also represent PTZ Optics, the PTZ camera folks. We represent Magewell, the capture card folks. We represent Marshall Electronics, specifically for the POV cameras like the one we're using right now. We love our X keys. Love the X keys. Getting a bad reflection off of them because I've got too many green keys there, but there's nothing like having vMix set up with X keys to automate a lot of functions. And we also represent vMix, of course. That's our kind of our mainstay. We, at least in 2016, we were the largest vMix reseller with support in the U.S. Not sure, haven't heard the numbers from 2017, but we did 30% more vMix stuff in 17 than 16, so we're hoping we're still good to go there. In fact, I think we must be, because the guys at vMix invited me to come out and work with them at NAB in April in Las Vegas, which is going to be a ton of fun. So if you're planning on going to NAB, make sure that you come by the vMix booth number 1. We don't know what the booth number is yet, but it's months away, so it doesn't matter. But also, make sure your stay includes a Tuesday night, because Tuesday night of NAB, we're going to do a Streaming Idiots meetup. And so all the folks that are there are going to meet up. We're going to meet at a live streaming studio, so we can tour the studio, and we're going to have giveaways, door prizes, and good refreshments. Not going to cost anything. We've got sponsors covering all of that. So make sure that you put on your calendar for April 10th, I believe, which is Tuesday night at NAB for the Streaming Idiots meetup. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Please come to Facebook and join the Streaming Idiots group, because we're talking about streaming practically 24/7. That's where the discussion about this Intel anomaly popped up first on my radar early this morning when I was looking at Facebook, and people were lamenting this problem. So we're going to keep our eyes on this problem and see just exactly how bad of a problem it is. Anyway, that's the show for today. Join me next Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern for another edition of Streaming Idiots. And now I need the drum roll. Do I have a drum roll here? I do have a drum roll. That button, I reprogrammed my X keys today, and I'm afraid that the outro portion of the reprogramming is not quite right because I didn't have time to test it. So I'm going to say goodbye, but I might not really go away. So I'm pressing the outro button. Pressing the outro button right. It's that one right there. Ready, set, go. Let me press it harder. Maybe that if I press it more than once, maybe that'll make it work. Okay, suffice to say is we're not going to get out of this show that easily. So let's go here, and maybe we'll get lucky. Actually, I want to blame all this. I do need to blame this on somebody. I need to blame this on Martin K. Because Martin K sent me this great new graphics for the opening and closing of the show. But the problem, of course, is that I didn't get a chance to get them all programmed right. Actually, I was in the process of doing that, and I couldn't get it all done. So let's see if we can do it manually. Fingers crossed. See you next week. And we are out of here. I turned off the recorder on the other PC, and we're back with Scott, and we'll turn Scott's audio on, and we're in post-show. And Scott, that was a lot of fun. Thank you. Sorry, I really put you on the spot with the realtor gig, but I thought you did real well. Oh, hold on. Let me try again with that audio. Hang on a second. We've turned Scotty off, and we will never, ever hear from him again. Oh, here we go.
That was me.
There you go. There we go. All right. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that was me. There was some people coming in the room showing I'm in a ballroom right now. So there were people looking at using it for a wedding. So as soon as they're close to the end of the show, they started walking in. They were being really loud, so I muted mine. I forgot I had it muted.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good job. Let's see if we've got any questions here in the chat. We had some good discussion. Rick and Ted had some good discussion talking about selling.
Yes, they did.
And listening and ideas. So you had a chance to read through those. Maybe I didn't. Ted says self-sponsorships.
I was trying to keep up.
Yeah, it's fun when you've got your own gig like this, whether it's football or basketball or a cooking show or whatever. You've got all sorts of opportunities for sponsorships. You can sponsor anything. This frying pan is sponsored by so-and-so's grocery store. Right. The lineup today is sponsored by, and then Rick was talking about the reads. I really agree with him. I think that's one of the most effective methods of advertising. And I've got a little story about this. When I was doing my first live streaming, this was probably about 7 years ago when I was live streaming soccer, the local Mexican restaurant was one of our sponsors. And I wasn't even the main announcer. I was the color guy. Not that I know a lot about soccer, but I wasn't good enough to be the play-by-play guy. And so it was a timeout or something, which you never have in soccer. Maybe somebody was hurt. I don't know. And so I was talking about going to El Mexicano, and you know how Mexican restaurants are. They have expansive menus, and everything is like number 26, number 26B, number 26C. And I said, if you ever go to El Mexicano, everybody calls it El Mex for short, you gotta get 14B. That's my favorite, 14B. And we talked about that, and I went into the Mexican restaurant the next week, and the owner came over to me and said, "What did you say on the broadcast? Everybody comes in wanting to know what the soccer special is." And I said, "Soccer special? Yeah, they said 14B. They don't even know what it is, but they want it." And that was the value of the read. Is it wasn't an intentional read. It was just me telling a story. Right. It was a few minutes. We had time. Here's my experience with this folks. And it was boom, boom. I mean, he got the immediate effect of it because people said, "I want the soccer special. I want that thing Tom Sinclair's talking about. I want 14B." But
you did step one of sales. You did step one. You got personal. That's the key.
Oh yeah.
You've got to got to break the wall. Once you break the wall, people will listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. I mean, I do the same thing. You know, I'm doing, like, we're doing a basketball game tomorrow night. Now I'm in the truck producing, and my announcer, who works for the radio station, is out on the floor. And he's a teacher at that school, so
Okay.
he's out there doing his shtick, and we can communicate back and forth. And he'll see an advertisement. We'll roll one of our ads.
Uh-huh.
It'll come up, and it's a barbecue joint or something like that. I'm like, oh, you got to get this. If you go in, you get this burrito wrap with this
Yep.
sauce and da 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 da. And same scenario, you know, the owner, hey Scott, man, we started selling those things. What did you say? So it's just you've got to get to that personal level, and once you get to that personal level, it's a lot easier.
And one of the things back when I was doing the soccer thing and trying to get sponsors, sometimes when I couldn't get somebody to sponsor, we would do an unintentional in-game read with them anyway. And was able to actually pick up a couple of sponsors because they heard that we were talking about them anyway, and they said, we want you to do more of it, so here's a check. And that's always nice. And that's, I mean,
happen too,
that's sold itself.
Where advertisers are out at the games and they see there are people that own businesses. We had a guy who owns 3 restaurants, and we're out at one of the games, and he happened to see. He goes, he thought, because he knows Andy from the radio station, and he thought Andy was there. He goes, no, I'm here for hometown media and Hillsdale TV. I'm not here for the radio. And he's like, who? And we got to shooting the breeze there, and next thing you know, he says, give me your card. I'm going to call you. I want to sponsor some stuff. He says, I love what you're doing. He says, so there you go. It's
that's
easy,
low hanging fruit,
easy money once you start getting. Yeah, you got to take those when they fall, because they don't. Those are easy yeses.
Those are easy
yeses, and all you have to do is just give them what the amount is per month, or your spots, or whatever, however you're selling. So yeah, it's really. But the free read, the read, I do it during halftime. We hit them at the beginning of the game. We talk about them during the game, and we'll also hit them definitely at halftime when we're at those long halftime breaks. We'll hit them. Hey, we want to also remind you that this game was brought to you by Jonesville Lumber. Jonesville Lumber. Make sure you go down there, and I give them some tagline that either they came up with or I did. Let's talk about I was just out there working on such and such project, and I had to run over to Jonesville Lumber, and they had exactly what I was looking for. And you bring that personality story into it. And people forget that they're there.
People love stories.
Home Depots, and they love stories, man. You got to get personal. Yep, personal.
Quick story. When we were doing the soccer gig, and this was right at the very beginning, and nobody knew. I mean, live streaming wasn't a thing. It didn't even have a name. Somebody said, are you filming tonight? They asked me, are you filming tonight? But we knew that so many people didn't even know it was happening, so we made up flyers. I think it was like either bright pink or bright yellow flyers, half a piece of paper. It says, call home and tell them this game is being broadcast on, at that point it was Sinclair Sports Network. That was back before I wasn't allowed to use that name anymore. And we put them down at the front. When people bought a ticket, they got a flyer. And it's amazing what you can do when you got a teenager there, and you bring him a hot dog and you say, here, hand these out to everybody that buys a ticket. It's like, okay, no problem, man, got you covered. And that's how we grew our audience, because people in the stadium would call their grandmother in Missoula, Mississippi, and say, get on your computer and go to SinclairSportsNetwork.com, and you can watch Billy play soccer right now. And it exploded. It exploded. It was so fun.
Add value to your sale. That's the biggest thing. You've got to get that. You have to rely on that social media. You have to rely on adding value, giving your customer more than what they paid for. And if you do that, we do that several different ways. We have crew shirts that say our logo on them, or they have the name of our advertisers on back. We also have, the microphone that you see the broadcasters. You have the, what do they call the stupid thing on there now? I bought a couple of them. We had them made. They're called tags. No, not tags.
Somebody in the chat will pull it out.
Yeah, but anyways, we bought a couple of those. You can get those, and you get your name on it. So then people see you out there, like, what is that? And they see you talking to them. Another great thing is banners. We put banners out. We get banners made, massive banners. I mean, they're good. They're good size, good 8-foot, 10-foot banners, 3-4 foot high with our logos, our people's names on them. But our name's the biggest on there. Check out this game on such and such.
Yep.
We're out there. And then the new thing that I'm doing with our new trailers, and it's going to be really unique, is we are going to build a TV in the trailer for people to watch, a great big TV. So
That's cool.
we can open it up when we're at the game, and people can watch it just like the instant replay on the big screens. So there's all kinds of things. Thank you, Mike Flags. Thank you very much, Richard. That's what they're called.
And if you're just joining us and wondering what in the world, this is the post show. Scott Pienta is my guest today, and we've been talking about sales and marketing of live streaming because Scott, with some assistance from me, is put together a class that will start a week from tomorrow at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. So if you're interested in the sales and marketing class and seeing Scott every week, and maybe me a little bit, go to easternshorebroadcasting.com to the store and get more information, or just shoot either one of us a note on Facebook, because you know to find us in the Streaming Idiots group on Facebook, which of course you'll want to join. And if you have a question right now and you're not in the chat room, then you need to get in the chat room by going to easternshorebroadcasting.com and clicking Watch Live, and then you can see the show that you're watching right now. Plus, you can get in on the chat. So, Michael Wilson says, how do I enter the chat room? Think about that one for just a second, Michael. Think about that. Think about it. Yeah, you got it right now. You're already in the chat room. Yes. Mic flags are good. I like that idea. I love the banner idea. That's great. Yeah. I love the TV in the truck. Go ahead.
The one place where I get my banners from, this is, I found this from, I DJ. From time to time I do it. It's more of a hobby. I mean, I've got a massive setup, but one of the things that I found that from other DJs is this company called stickersandbanners.com, and I'm telling you what, their prices are they're unbeatable, and I make some massive banners for $35-40, and multicolored, and it's good stuff. I had a lady that makes banners here in town, and they had a hard time giving me a price and a quote, and she says, well, let me see this banner you're talking about, Scott. And I showed her, and she goes, holy moly, that's a good banner. And it's lasted. I mean, it's been in some pretty bad weather, and it's still all put together, not frayed or anything else. But there's a lot of ideas that you can do in sales. You have to first. The whole point of this class is to make the initial contact, to understand what you're selling. I don't know. Everybody sells 50 different things. Like you are focused on your stream. You're not going out and filming high school sports anymore, but I am. You're not. So your sales are going to be specific for your customers. You're going to go to Madgewell. You're going to go to VMix. You're going to go to your go-to places to get the sales.
Mike Latta's got to go. Bye, Mike.
Hey, see you, Mike. So, but those are the kind of sales that you want to go to. And myself, I'm not. If I put Madgewell up on the side of our banner that's hanging outside, people have no idea what Madgewell is. They don't care.
Right.
I know what it is, and my other fellow streamers would know what it is, but they wouldn't know. So why would I put that? Maybe. So,
maybe. But here's what Madgewell is. Madgewell is the answer to a problem. It's the solution to something that hasn't yet been solved. I'm not going to sell those. We're going to fix a problem with them. Fixing a problem.
Yeah.
You get to do something you never got to do before.
And Michael, you're exactly right. Michael's posting about it. He went to a tailgate and how many people are watching TV and everything else. Yeah. Now it's streaming. They want to watch it on their phones. There are people sitting in the stands watching on their phones what's going on.
Because they want to watch the instant replay.
Because we broadcast our games. They love the instrument. They want to see. They want to see the closer because they might be up in the stands a little further away and don't get the good shot. So they're in the stands. So a lot of stands now have these big Aruba engineers that are designing these massive networking systems, Wi-Fi systems in these arenas to handle the amount of broadband that's going out there. So because people are doing just that, and they got to give that extra experience. What better way to sell than saying, hey, if you go onto your phone right now and check out such and such, you have the announcer say it, and they're going to be giving away free pizza. You know, there's a million ideas that you can come up with sales. You just need to get people to get the views to get online. You know, I have no problem buying somebody a pizza. I'd buy a whole section of pizza if I wanted to, you know, because that's what it takes to get people to view. And if this is sponsored by Little Caesars Pizza, you know, this timeout sponsored by Little Caesars, go onto your phones right now and like our Facebook. We're going to pick out one of the, you know, section, somebody in the section, put your number on there, what seat you're in, and we're going to pick out we could possibly pick out your seat, you know, and you're going to win a pizza for you and everybody in your row. And so they do that at the stadiums now. They give out a whole section of pizzas, you know, for everybody. So what's the difference in what we're doing? You're getting the advertising, you're getting the value, you're getting the viewers. You're creating something that they can't get from just sitting in the stands watching the game. And that's what you're doing. You want to do something different. You've got to do something different. And sales is the way to do it. It's just in many ways, and that's how you pay for what you're doing.
Let me throw something out here. Because you may be sitting at home watching Scott and I talk back and forth. Scott doing most of the talking. And you're thinking, you know, that's great, but I don't do those kind of gigs. I got the stuff, I got the kit, but I want people to hire me to go out and to stream their stuff. If you would like to know what I think about that and how you should do that, shoot me a note. I bet Scott would give some ideas on that too. If you would like an intensive coaching session on that, I do coaching and would be happy to coach you in how I think you could do that, probably 10 or 12 different ways. And we can talk about whether that would be a good fit for you, because Scott's class may not be exactly what you're looking for, but the idea is that you get what you're looking for. Now, frankly, I think everybody that's in live streaming, i.e. you own a business, needs to have sales and marketing background. If you don't have it, the class is going to be a great opportunity to get it, and you're going to find that it's going to pay you back year after year after year after year on out into the future, because you're going to have these skills. You're going to be prepared. Now, could you learn all this on yourself? Could you go out and read some books and do it? Yes. But here's a way that you're going to get question and answer, you're going to get discussion, you're going to get homework, you're going to get the whole thing in a package that's only going to take you an hour and a half once a week for 6 weeks to get the whole deal. And at the end of that, you're going to come out. Are you going to be able to be a perfect sales guy? No. But you're going to know a lot more than you know right now. You're going to be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of yourself and of your company. You're going to be able to identify your distinguishing difference in your company and other companies. You're going to have some idea of what that sales process is, so that when you get the elevator pitch opportunity, that 45 seconds that I gave Scott earlier with the realtor, you'll be able to know, okay, I've got 45 seconds. What are the key things that I need to be able to get out there? You will be able to say, okay, I understand Facebook, I understand Twitter, I understand Instagram, but how can I use that social media in my marketing campaign? That's the benefit of the sales and marketing class, is that it's going to give you these tools that you're going to be able to use in a variety of situations. It's not like it's going to be sitting down going through a sales every Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening. You know, that's not what this gig is. Yes, there are sales gigs that do that, but that's not what this gig is, because you're selling your stuff and then you're doing your stuff. But you got to, like Jim Jacobs says, nothing happens until somebody sells something. Think about that. Nothing happens until somebody sells something. Byron, I get an amen from you out there? I know I do.
Jim is exactly right. That's the God's honest truth. You can't move forward until you have some money in your pocket. So you've got to sell something now. It's either going to be advertising or sponsorship or pay-per-view or something. You have to have some kind of, because I don't know about everybody's time. My time is valuable. I have very little time left, and I want to get paid for what I do. I don't mind doing the charity cases here and there, but they're going to be very few and far between. But there's got to be an end position in it for me. See you later there, Dan.
Bye, Dan. There you go. Michael Wilson said he raised money by selling his archives. I love it.
Right. And that's another thing. That's another way to say, you got to, sales is being creative 3/4 of the time. You just have to think of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and that's what it's all about. We had, we just did a movie premiere here at the college, and we did actually I have the thing here. They came and they did the Darkest Hour. They showed it before it came out in theaters here. It was right before Christmas break, and then Gary Oldman, who played Churchill, actually came here and spoke the very next day. He was here that night. And the producer was here, and the people made the movie from Focus Features was here, and the college doesn't have a whole lot of stuff when it comes to entertainment stuff, so they rent some of my personal equipment for lighting and such. And they've been starting to slowly acquire it, but they didn't have enough to do this. So we turned the ballroom actually I'm sitting in right now, into a massive, we brought in this company from Maryland that does major motion productions, and they do videos. They do film festivals all over the world. And they came in here and set up the screen, they set up the surround sound, the whole 9 yards, and then I did the lighting in here and controlled the lighting from my iPad. And it looked like a big theater, but I sold, hey, this is what I could do for the school here. Here's what we're going to build. This is what you want it to look like. You want it to be. The people that came from the producer and Focus Features, they loved it. They said, man, we did not expect it to come out looking like this. It looked like a nice, great, classic movie theater in here with the lighting and the draperies and how everything was done. So I was able to sell off of an idea. Nobody had an idea what I was going to do, but I said, hey, look, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to charge you, and we're going to put it in. And we did. So, hey, Frank. We're not sure who Frank B is. Oh, hello, Frank. So,
Frank B is Frank
but
Beats.
That's, oh, okay. Oh, hey, Frank, how are you? I didn't wonder who was Frank. There's a lot of Franks out there. I wasn't sure which Frank it was. So, that's the beauty of sales. You understand your product, you understand your customer. How do you get them to come together and merge?
Yep.
And how you do that's part of this course. It's just a bunch of tactics and sales training and understanding yourself and understanding your limitations and understanding what you can do better.
Yep. And you'll get a lot of feedback about what you're doing right and wrong. Yep.
You will.
You will.
You'll get more feedback of what you're doing wrong than what you're doing right. I'm not saying I'm the sales god of everything. Guys, I've been teaching installations and sales and business stuff for years to my kids, to people that have worked underneath me, management skills. I mean, I've done a lot in the 46 years that I've been on this earth. So there may be some better salespeople out there for them, and there's going to be. And I'm not going to be the world-renowned best salesman of the century. But what I will do is make sure that you get a sale and you can make some money from this. That's my goal. Is I want you to make money. You might not be able to. You have to understand. Are you going to do this as full time? We talk about that. You're going to be full time, part time. What's your goal at this? I mean, what is your angle? If you're looking for just a part-time income, hey, I'm going to go film a few times a month, and I'm happy with making $40,000 a year off of it. then that's your goal. If you're happy with making $5,000 off of it, but you have to understand what's your part time, how many employees you're going to have, what kind of equipment do you have? You're going to have it break down. You're going to have to repair. What's your fuel costs? All of these things have to come into it to figure your costs for your sales and what your sales goals are. So all of this kind of comes into play, and trying to understand how much money you want to charge. Like, my goal, I know that I can survive doing what I do, and we do, this month we're doing 22 games, and we have announcers, we have camera people, and me in the truck. So I can do that off of what I do, but I know my budget has to be, and I mean, we're bringing in $9,000 a month to pay the bills. I mean, I have to, because of all the costs, the fuel costs, the labor costs, the setup costs, the teardown costs, the replacement of parts. So that's what I have to bring in, plus we're upgrading to new trailers for future things that we're getting ready to do starting in the spring. So there's a whole other avenue there. So you have to understand what you're doing. Like right now, I'm still part-time. I still work at a job. I have to, because I am building. It costs a lot of money to do this, guys, and I'm sure if those in the industry know it's cost a lot of money. Building a trailer with $50,000 worth of gear in it is not like, I can't just stroke a check for it. So that's just one of those things. I know you could look from the thing and the clean shaven that I am, that 3-piece suit, that I should be able to just write a check right for it, but I just can't do that. So I mean, if I could, I do have the money to do it, but that's not how I want to do things. I want to make sure, a friend of mine told me he has a company that it's ungodly how much money his company makes and what they sell. But he goes, Scott, he says, I could go and literally just stroke a check for just about anything I want. He says, but I don't. I write a check and I pay for it, or we finance stuff because we get the tax breaks on it. And he says, I could stroke a lot of checks for a lot of things. I mean, they make this deer mineral, and it's called Lucky Buck, and he's a good friend of mine, and we're doing some stuff together. And he makes this. He came up with this idea for this deer mineral. He went to college for dairy nutrition, and that's what he did. He would go out to dairy farms, a perfect sales pitch here, and he'd go out to dairy farms and try to sell them dairy supplements to get their cows to produce better milk, more milk, the whole 9 yards. And he bought this company that was going up for sale. The owners, he knew about them. There was this competition, and he ended up buying them out. He mortgaged everything he had and to buy them out, and ended up buying them out, and is still selling the cow stuff, and it just, wasn't making any money. But everywhere he heard, he listened. He listened to his customers. They all talked about hunting deer because they're always in their fields and they're always out. So he says, what about, and they talked about they're always their rack size. He says, what if I can take the same, principle of making a cow healthier and apply it to a deer, understanding a deer. Now, Dave has never hunted a day in his life. You wouldn't know that talking to him. He talks the lingo, he talks the talk, because like I said, you have to make it personal to customers. So I thought he was this big hunter. He never hunted a damn thing in his life, but not knowing, I had no idea. He knows that. He knows the rack sizes. He knows the spread. He knows all the lingo for these guys talk. He has 3 world records under his company for the size deer from eating his mineral, and it's just, and once it took off, he sells in Cabela's, it sells in Tractor Supply, it sells. The stuff is phenomenal. I'm even working with some stuff on right now. We're actually going to be starting to produce some films to teach people how to use the mineral properly so they get the best. So there's a lot of opportunities, like you said, of how to create opportunities to teach people about stuff. I have another friend of mine who sells $20 million a year online on eBay and Amazon. And he came to me, he says, Scott, I'm looking for a social media person. I need to get better at social media. And I said, look, we can help you. We'll come down there and we'll set up once a week, and we'll do a show. We'll talk about what you're selling online. We'll talk about your products that you're selling. He sells all kinds of stuff, and he sells like mostly industrial stuff, lawnmower blades and industrial drill bits and different type of things like that. And I told him, it's like, Craig, we'll help you out, and he likes that idea, so we're going to be starting to do that. There's a lot of streaming ideas out there. It's not just sponsorships. My money comes in from different ways. That's how I'm able to grow and continue to grow, multiple different ways. I still sell. I sold the County of Hillsdale the new courthouse they're building. We're wiring the whole. My company's wiring the whole the county courthouse, because that's what I did for 18 years. So that money I'm taking and reinvesting into my hometown media. That's how we're building our trailers out. That's how we're building everything else out. And that money's just the money that comes in from our sponsors pays for our games, pays for our labor, pays for upgrades on stuff. The big bulk of money that I get in pays for really my big expansions, my big purchases, my big things that are happening with the company. So it's all sales. It doesn't matter how the money comes in as long as it's coming in.
And as long as it continues. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Kurt wants to
Good
know,
story.
Can I tell us what my average commercial cost is? Well, Kurt, yes and no. For me, it's a little different. I charge my customers, I don't have a month-to-month contract, nor do I have just a splash sponsorship or advertising. I set contracts, 6-month or 12-month contracts. And so it all depends. I have several different layers of contract on how many times they're going to be announced, when they're going to be announced, how many times we're going to go recut the commercials. Because like if it's a car dealership, you'll want to be showing a 4x4 truck in the middle of summer. Some people do. But you usually want to show the sporty cars in the summer. So we go and we recut commercials. So we have to figure those costs in and what level sponsorship we want them to be. So, and then my cost of operation might not be the same as yours. Your cost is, you might be just you and one other person, which you can easily do at a good game for 2 people. Me, it's, I'm doing a game with 3 to 5 people right now. And then once we expand, once we get our first trailer in, we're going to be 15 people doing a game. So it's completely, our advertising costs have now shifted. So an average cost is, to give you an example of an average cost, you have to understand, that's what we talk about in the course, is we talk about figuring your value, figuring what you're trying to do, who you're trying to broadcast it to, and how you're trying to get it to them, what your costs and your CDN fees, if you have any, and all the other little things that you have to really calculate in there to come up with a cost for you. So what I might charge, I might charge an advertiser $1,500 a month to advertise with me. You might charge, $200 a month and be happy at that $200 a month. It all varies. So that's the difference is, I could go after a national advertiser and say, hey, look, we're now broadcasting in 50 states. We have actually affiliates as one of my projects that I'm working on right now. We have affiliates in 50 states. We want to sell. So we want to sell you advertising. Your cost is, we have 2 million viewers. We want advertising of $10,000 a month from you. So I mean, it just depends on your viewership. It depends on what you're doing. So Kirk, for me to tell you what the average cost is, it's tough to say. I mean, we have 65 customers, and we have about $9,500 coming in every month from advertising. So, so my level's a little different than you. So, some customers are happy with just paying, $400 or $500 a month in advertising and only getting mentioned a few times or specific times during a game. Some customers want to be on there all the time, and so that's really up to you what you're trying to do with your network.
Pricing is a whole different ball game, isn't it?
It's a whole different game. We're not going to get into pricing too much. We're going to give you tools to understand. The way Jim sells is the old radio style sales, and I don't mean that in a bad way to Jim. But I've talked to him about my strategy, and he goes, Scott, I just don't get it, and it is different. I am a lot different than what other guys are doing and how they're doing it. I've come up with a new way, and that new way is working for me. we're getting sales, and I get them very quick. I coupled with my sales tactic, but it's not out of the woods for people to sponsor our games. So we make it very affordable, and we make it value to them, and that's what they see, and they see us, and they hear about us. You know, when we're out doing stuff at Michigan International Speedway, which is a big NASCAR track, and they're calling me. They're emailing me, "Hey Scott, would you like to come out and to film this thing?" And we're on NASCAR's, you know, media. We get emails from NASCAR all the time. We can go on there and download any files we want. And we're in the press room with them. We can film live right there at the track. It's incredible what we can do. We can't show the whole race because, you know, Fox is there. But we can show clips of the race as the race is progressing and show those live on air. So it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive what we can do. And then when your advertisers see, they go, "Wow, I didn't know you guys did all this stuff." And we're sitting down with these big multi-million-dollar companies. Then it makes it a lot easier. So it's just down to what you want to do with how you want to sell and where you're planning on going. If this is a full-time gig to you, you need to really think. You need to put a business plan together and really strategize on what your overall goal is. If this is a part-time thing, which it is for a lot of streamers, this is a part-time gig. Don't get me wrong. A lot of streamers, it's really a full-time gig. But if you look at it as opposed to dollars versus income, it's really a part-time gig because we're not out there 24/7 really filming. You just have to. I'm trying to turn this business into a multi-million-dollar business for a lot of people, and that's where I'm heading out pretty darn soon here. We're going to be unveiling that, and I'm sure I'll probably be talking to Tom about that. I've sent him some emails to kind of give him some insight of where I'm heading, and we do have some people that are interested right now. It's going to be pretty crazy pretty soon here, and I think once we get the first couple, we do the beta testing here this quarter. I'm hoping to unveil this we hopefully work out the kinks by NAB, and we can start really teaching people how to make money. Because, like I said, that's when those national sponsors are going to come in handy.
All right. So the class is Thursday night.
Wednesdays.
A week from.
You put Thursday. It's Wednesday.
Did I put Thursday? It's Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the night after the show. I'm sorry. So it's Wednesday.
Yeah. I seen that. I thought you said Thursdays. I'm like, wait a minute. I think it was Wednesdays because Wednesdays are the only nights that I don't have basketball.
Wednesday it is then. I need to go change all that stuff.
I'm sorry
about that. I think I got it right in the. That's okay. In the on the website. I just don't think I had it right.
You did. You have it right on the website. Yeah, you had it right on the website.
Okay, we'll fix that. All right. Well, let's call it quits. Scott, thank you so much for coming on. It was a treat to have you.
Thank you very much. Hey, appreciate it, Tom. Thanks for having me, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you. And if I don't see you online, I'll see you at NAB.
Me? You'll see me next week.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll see you next week. I mean, I'm talking, face to face.
Face to face. Yes, that's right. Okay, good deal.
Or camera to camera. One of the two.
Camera to camera. That's right. All right, good deal. Thanks, Scott.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. We will, let's see. We'll flip over to this one for just a second and tell you good night, good morning, goodbye, and we'll see you next week. And thanks so much for popping in on this show today. We'll let it run out.